I've tried many AI assistants that came out in the past year, and none of them come even close to what Clawdbot has been able to do. Or I guess Moltbot, since it's been renamed after facing some legal troubles from Anthropic. And while the name is indeed similar, the use case is very different. Moltbot is probably the first time when AI feels like an employee rather than a chat. And more than anything, I think it gives us an insight into how we will use AIs in the near future. In this video, I'll cover exactly why Moltbot is such a big deal in AI right now, what use cases it is absolutely amazing in, and finally mention the scary security implications that come together as a package. Now, the promise of Moltbot is that it is an assistant that helps you 24/7. But if you're like me, you're thinking, my AI can already do this. Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude, they are all available to me at all times. So what's the big deal here? And the biggest differences are computer access, memory, and the heartbeat. I'll explain this one later. Moltbot lives on a dedicated computer of any kind and has a lot of control over it. It can code, create scripts, even change configurations. Compare that to your usual LLM that is restricted to a browser and there's very little they can take charge of. Moltbot is encouraged to figure out a way to achieve whatever it is you want it to achieve. Instead of saying, I can't do that, it analyzes the task at hand, codes a script for itself, and does the task. Effectively, Moltbot can do the same things that a person sitting in front of a computer would be able to do. This opens a completely new window into the possibility of AIs. While before, you had to instruct AIs how they should tackle tasks. Now, it is enough to say what you want to achieve, and Moltbot will reason to find a solution. Important to know that giving AI a computer to control is exactly the script of a movie Transcendence, where it later takes over the world and destroys it. But I guess it won't happen this time around, right? Second thing that makes Moltbot so great is the amazing memory it has. When you set it up, it asks some basic questions about yourself, like your name, time zone, and preferences. The shocking part is how Moltbot keeps learning things about you as you communicate with it. For example, it noticed that I get a lot of emails with "during college" mentioned and asked me about it. I did say that's a company I founded, and now it knows that those are work emails. Moltbot's ability to handle memory truly stands out. If you're interested in a more technical breakdown, I'm linking a great article on X in the description about how Moltbot remembers so many things. And finally, Moltbot has a heartbeat. That's how Peter Steinberger, the creator of Moltbot, calls its ability to be more proactive. This feature adds an ability for Moltbot to wake up, something that other LLMs cannot do, remember the conversations, and take action. If you ask it to keep an eye on your emails and let you know of anything urgent, it will be able to do so. This makes Moltbot feel alive, like if you had a personal assistant whose full-time job is to help you live. Additionally, you can even define its soul, which is another term coined by Peter to define the personality Moltbot has. You have full access to change it. Moltbot can be funny or serious, talkative or straight to the point. It's up to you to decide what kind of a companion you'd like. So let's get to it and set up Moltbot. To be truthful, it's not the easiest of experiences, especially if you aim to have it as secured as possible. For the demo purposes, I am installing it on my AWS instance, and we will discuss the security implications of having Moltbot on your personal computer. We will talk about that at the end of this video. So now let's head to Moltbot website and see what they have for us in their quick start section. There is this command we can copy paste. I'll head to my AWS instance and start installing. And as you can see, it starts doing its things, and then let's check back in once it is installed. So now Moltbot is successfully installed. We see its message. It did everything it needed to do, installed Node.js, Git, things like that. I ran Clawdbot onboard to walk me through their checklist. So first question they ask is, I understand that this is powerful and inherently risky. Continue, and let's go ahead and say yes. Let's select quick start for onboarding mode. There's some config detected. Let's update the values. I will use Anthropic API key. Let me paste my key in here. Let's select the default model, which is Opus 4.5. and select that channel. So in this case, we can select via which platform do we want Moltbot to talk to us. So I've selected Telegram as a messenger platform for me to talk with my Clawdbot, and it gave me instructions on how to do that. And the first step is to open Botfather and run a new bot. So let's do that. I already have opened a chat with it, and then let's click start, say new bot. All right, a new bot, what we're going to call it. Let's call it Multi, because it's a Moltbot. Good, let's use username. It ends with bots. Okay, Multibot. Done, congratulations. And they gave us the API key. And let's copy it. So let's copy this token into here and see. All right, and then Moltbot gives us an ability to choose from a variety of skills that they can use. Let's click yes, show a homebrew install command. Yes, let's do that. npm. And then we have to select skills, but I will skip this for now and you can read about it later. And further, Moltbot will ask us about a specific integration. So I don't want to set up them now. So let's just click no, 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 no. It's mostly for Google Maps and things like that. So that we don't really need right now. Let's skip hooks, we don't need them just yet. And Moltbot now is installing its gateway, and the gateway is the thing we will talk with Moltbot through. And finally, it gives us an ability to hatch our bot, so to start talking to them. Let's select hatch in TUI, and we see that Moltbot is waking up. Hey Stretches, I just came out online. Awesome. Tell me about yourself. Let's say I'm Thomas. As you can see, it is running. It's using Claude Opus 4.5 via the API key I've provided, and it is now setting everything up for itself. All right, and now it hasn't answered to me. Hey Thomas, nice to meet you. What should I call you? Just Thomas or something else? It asks for my time zone, just to make sure it doesn't bug me at 3 a.m. in the morning. And then it asks for a vibe, how it should talk to me. So I will say, let's give them your name, Multi, a vibe. I want you to be funny and caring. No preference on emoji. Cool, so we just set up Multi. And now we will try and connect it to Telegram, so we would have an ability to interact with it. And Multi just responded saying, Multi, I love it. Funny and caring it is. And now it saves that into its memory, and it will make sure to communicate with us in this specific way. Now it asks us, where do we want to connect? Let's say Telegram. So as you can see, it gives us a step-by-step guide on how to do it. And then the good thing about Moltbot is that it can help you figure out things yourself or help you set them up. Like I've said, it is able to change any configurations it has access to, and that just makes everything much more easier. Okay, so now it asks me for a token. I can say, here's the token. I will copy paste it from the Telegram, the token that I have received, and now it is setting it up. So now Multi is live and we are connected to it via Telegram, so we can chat directly. So let's go ahead and try to set up some use cases. And the first one I want to try is that I want to ask Multi to give me a weather report every morning so I would know what it's looking like for the day. So let's try and ask it to do that. Let's say I want to receive a weather report from you each morning at 7 a.m. about the day's weather in Vilnius, Lithuania. As you can see, Multi is typing and it is thinking on what to do, and it is probably trying to figure out an answer right now. Done, that's it. And Multi says, here's your daily weather briefing. When every day at 7 a.m. Vilnius time, weather for Vilnius with temperature conditions and a heads up for rain. So it asks us as well, do we want to test it? And let's say, yes, please test right now. So it is trying to trigger now the same action it would do every morning. And it sends us a daily weather report. It says, good morning, Thomas. Here's your Vilnius weather. It's -10, light snow, and even says to bundle up like a burrito. Remember, we set it to be caring, so it does exactly that. So it's that easy. We asked Moltbot to give us a weather report, and it did exactly that. We didn't even have to instruct where to get this weather from. It just figured out everything itself. Now let's try for a second use case. Let's ask it to give us a news report every morning too, and summarize the biggest news in AI. Let's say, could you please now make me a summary of the biggest news in AI and make a weekly report of what I should be up to date on. So let's see, I'm actually curious in this case where Multi will take the news from, but as you saw with the weather report, it just tries to figure out things by itself. And after some thinking, it gave us the news. It says, big money moves, Tesla invested in XAI, some news on Google, AI and government, entertainment, cool tech, things like that. So it is awesome. The good thing about Moltbot is again that you don't have to give it instructions. It simply goes off and figures out how to do things itself. So that's for the use cases. We got the weather report and we got the weekly AI news report for us to stay up to date to. So as you can already tell, Moltbot is extremely powerful, but since it has access to so many things, it is also extremely dangerous. We've been using the personal assistant analogy throughout this video, and one thing you should keep in mind is that this assistant of yours just follows orders blindly, and if you do not set it up to be more secure, it will be very dangerous. Imagine I had an assistant and a friend of mine would call them to say, this is Thomas calling, please buy a literal ton of potatoes and deliver them to my home. My assistant would probably get a bit confused and think to double check with me. Maybe they would recognize my voice and realize it is not really me who's calling. Moltbot will do no such thing and simply order a ton of potatoes. It cannot really distinguish me from somebody else yet. That's why we must restrict access to it. In other words, securely define who is allowed to talk to Moltbot. As things currently stand, if you're not technical, my strong recommendation is to not install Moltbot onto your personal computer, nor give it access to anything you'd hate losing. It is simply too easy to leave a tiny hole open that somebody could make use of and use Moltbot against your best interests. You can also achieve many great things with it just by giving it read access without the permission to change or affect things. The good news is, if you're technical, there are solid ways to restrict access and make sure only you specifically can chat with your personal Moltbot. I won't go into details about it now, yet there are hundreds of articles already on how to achieve this. Even if it's hard to make secure right now, that does not mean that Moltbot is not the future. In my personal opinion, it gives us an insight into what the future actually looks like. I imagine a life where it is not common anymore for us to read email, manage calendar, or even read the latest news, and instead fully rely on AI's help to inform us about that. I've already seen examples of Moltbot calling restaurants to make reservations, buying tickets, or even managing stock portfolios. That is why the way I see it, we're at the point of where AI can do almost everything a person could. In some cases, it does act sloppy, but it's only a matter of time until we won't be able to tell the difference. So there you have it, a quick guide on Moltbot or Clawdbot. This is what AI assistants were actually supposed to be. Basically, an actual autonomous agent that learns about you and handles real work. As you've seen, the possibilities here are wild. Autonomous research agents, entire business operations running in the background, creative workflows that just handle themselves. And I'm personally going to keep pushing this, building with it. This is the kind of tools that makes completely new things possible. So subscribe if you'd like to see more videos on the most up-to-date tools, their use cases, and updates in the AI industry. And tell me in the comments, are you going to set this up? What's the first use case you're going to try? I want to know what other use cases you can come up with. Also, if you're serious about leveling up your AI skills beyond just using tools, if you want to actually understand how this stuff works, check out the courses by Turing College on AI, links in the description. And if you're wondering how to actually learn AI from scratch in 2026, we've made a full guide on that right over here. Go watch that next. See you in the next video.